Hi, it's Kendall from Adventures with Flowers here. I'm going to take you through 3 spring flowering bulbs that I think every gardener should grow. They're probably not going to be new things to you, but I've just thought you never know, you might not have tried them, so I will chat through them. So the first ones are Alliums. These are, when they flower, they're lovely long, tall, thin green stems and then like a purple ball on the top. So ideally your bulb should be planted by the end of September. I'll be honest, it's now October and some of mine are still not in, but they will be going in soon. I have got a few in. But the reason why they are so good from a cut flower point of view is because they fill that May gap. So in May, traditionally, there's not that much cut flower plants available in the garden, and that is because your seeds that you've sown in the spring haven't obviously yet started flowering, and your tulips and your early spring flowering bulbs are finished. So in May we get this gap, so that's why alliums are so valuable in my opinion. How should you plant them? Well, they like a well-drained soil, so if you have got a heavy clay soil, I would advise planting them in containers. But if you're on any other sort of well-draining soil, then find a sunny spot. They like a sunny spot, and they look best planted in groups of odd numbers. I'm going to try and plant some of mine in a mass this year, but you can plant them in sort of groups of 5, 3. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Mainly the colours are various shades of purple and white. I think there's a couple of maybe bluey or pinky varieties as well. And for the smaller varieties, you want to leave about a 10 centimetre gap between your bulbs. For the bigger headed varieties, you want to leave about 20 centimetres, because although the stem is, you know, quite thin, the heads on some of them are kind of like the size of your head. So if you put them too close together, they just will bang against each other and won't look quite so nice, and they'll damage each other. Alliums like to be planted at 4 times the depth of the bulb. So if your bulb is 2 centimetres, then they need to be planted at 10 centimetres. And when you plant them, you want to put them so the top pointy bit is poking up, because that's where the shoots are going to come from, and this kind of these are the rootlets here, roots growing out, and they want to go down. So that's the way you plant them in the ground, like that. Right, so spring flowering bulb number 2 is a daffodil. This one's actually grown a little baby from last year, so I'm hoping I'll get flowers from both. So daffodils can be planted any time from September to November, but I like to do mine in October, purely because I'm trying to do my alliums in September. I'm going to do my tulips in November, so October is the time where I give these babies some attention. So the reason they're so good is because you can plant them in the lawn, so they don't take up valuable space in your bed. So if you're gardening in a small area, plant some in your lawn. They brighten up the lawn, and also you can get more flowers in, and you can put other things in your beds that need to go in beds. So that's one reason why I really like them. Another reason is you can get loads of different varieties. So I think these ones here are a Sophie Girl, so they're a lovely sort of an orangey pink trumpet in the middle, and then white leaves around the outside. They smell amazing as well. And you can also get some really quirky little varieties. So I'll show you this container that I've planted up. So I've got in here some tete-a-tete, which are lots of very short, and they've got lots of little flower heads on each stem, so they're really, really pretty. So these, I plant this up every year, and it sits on one of the tables in my garden, and it just brightens the garden up, because come sort of February, March time, they're flowering away when everything else is looking still a bit bare. So yeah, that's another reason I really like them, because you can do them in containers and put them by the front door, for example, if you wanted to do that. So how do we plant them? Well, they need to go at 3 times the depth of the size of the bulb. So measure that's probably about 4 centimetres. So these probably want to go about 12 centimetres, that's quite deep. And then in terms of spacing, if you're planting them in the border or in the lawn, they need to be spaced at twice the width of the bulb. So a really easy way to do this is to line up 4 bulbs in a row, take the 2 middle ones out, and then from there put another 4, take the 2 middle. Do you see what I'm saying? So you get, you know, the spacing right, or you can just do it by eye. You know, it's not an exact thing. It's the scientist in me, I can't help it, and the measuring. If you're doing them in a container though, you only need 1 width gap. So again, you could just line up 3, remove the middle 1. So yeah, that's everything for daffodils. So last on my list are tulips. So tulips should be planted in November. Now the reason for this is because there is something that lives in our soil called tulip fire disease, and if you wait until November, usually by then we've had quite a hard frost, and that tends to kill off the disease. So it just means that any sort of newish bulbs are not going to get diseased, so therefore you'll probably have more flowers, which is what we want. Why tulips? In my opinion, there is absolutely nothing better than a vase of tulips in the spring. I don't know if it's because it's been a long winter and there haven't been a lot of flowers about, but for me that is just the most amazing thing. And I'm really excited because I have found a fabulous vase for tulips. I don't know about you, but I really struggle finding a vase for tulips. You put them in and they all just kind of go like that, but this one is perfect. It holds them really upright. So I am actually going to be getting a few of those in stock, hopefully in November. Obviously we won't have any tulips growing until the spring, but if you wanted to buy something for somebody for Christmas, that would be a really perfect gift if they like having flowers in the house, because like I said, I have never found a vase that makes tulips look so amazing. So keep an eye on the website for that. I will you can subscribe to my email list, and I'll let my email list subscribers know when that's in. Like I said, I'm not going to have many of them, so if you are after one of those, then do jump straight on it. The other reason I really like tulips is because you can get some really quirky varieties. Now, when you're choosing your bulbs, I would be really careful about just choosing kind of standard bulbs from the garden centre. No disrespect to garden centres, but they tend to just have red tulips. But you can just go and buy those in the supermarket. So what I like to try and do is I go to Peter Nissen, who are a really good bulb supplier. They have loads and loads of different varieties. I really love the parrot tulips. So they're, you know, I had some last year, I'm not kidding you, their heads were like this, and they're all like curly and wacky colours. And you can also get some really amazing varieties that are kind of almost ombre, so the colour changes as you go up the flower. So yeah, go on the Peter Nissen website, have a little look. There's loads still on there because I only just ordered my bulbs. And yeah, just try something new and something different and something that catches your eye, because you know, like I said, you can just buy any plain coloured tulips in the supermarket. Then in terms of planting depth, I plant some of my tulips in the ground, but I also do some in containers as well. So they need to be planted at 3 times the depth of the bulb. So again, about 9 centimetres deep. If you're planting them in the border, they need 2 times the width of the bulb gap, so the same as daffodils. And if they're going in a container, only 1 times the width. So yeah, I hope that has been useful. I've got a few little tips here for you. Obviously I'm sort of saying loads of measurements, which I know you know, you can just guesstimate them, but one thing, a tool that I find really handy is this bulb trowel. I don't know if you can see on there, it's got demarcation, so it's got it in centimetres and inches. I'll be honest, I'm a centimetres girl, as you've probably guessed, because I've been saying about centimetres in this video. So I did have a quick look online to see where they might be available, and actually I could only find places that had them in inches, which is a bit frustrating really. So garden suppliers, people that make tools, I really think you should get back on making bulb trowels with some centimetre markings on them, because I find this really, really useful. When I'm actually digging the hole, I can like line this up with the edge of the saw and be like, oh right, okay, my hole's 9 centimetres deep now, brilliant, I can drop my bulb in. So it just makes it a lot quicker, because I find I can do widths and spacing okay by eye, but depths I find really difficult. If you don't have access to that, obviously you can use a normal trowel and a tape measure, but it's just a bit more faffy. So if you do have a bulb trowel that you've bought recently and it's got centimetres on, please let me know, because this one is getting a little bit tired. I think it was my mum's, and I would really love to buy buy a new one. So yeah, please do let me know. Also, I don't know if it'd be useful, but I can always do a video of me planting some of the bulbs. If you think that would be of use, let me know in the comments below, and I can just do a really quick vid and post it on social. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's been useful, and it will inspire you to go and try some new varieties to grow in your garden. As I've said, all of these varieties can be grown in containers, so if you don't have much space, get yourself a pot and pop them in. And if you are interested in learning how to grow, then and arrange those flowers once you get them, then hop on over and have a little look at my Mind in Bloom subscription box. This is a subscription box that comes to you every month, and it has a different project. So I can't tell you what's coming up because I like to keep it a surprise, but the October box, which went out at the start of the month, was an indoor project to grow some indoor daffodils ready for Christmas. We've had Alliums, they were in the September box. What else have we had? Loads and loads of different things. So seeds, there's been bulbs, there's been plug plants, so mini plants that you then learn how to grow on and plant. So yeah, it's basically to teach you how to garden, give you some ideas on some new and exciting varieties, find some like-minded people in the community, and also learn how to arrange those flowers once they've grown. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, or you know somebody that you'd like to gift that to, because we do have gift subscriptions, then head over to the website. It's www.adventureswithflowers.com, and click on the subscribe link or the gift experience link. Thanks so much. Bye.